All right, happy Tuesday, everyone. It's a good day to have a good day, especially when you are in the room about to listen into some life-changing stories. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen so that we can dive in. Thank you for being on time. If we haven't met before, my name is Aisa. I am going to be the host for this evening, but I'm just merely here to hold space for the testimonials and the amazing stories that we have in the community to celebrate. So let me go ahead and get into it. We say, share a story, change a life for a reason. And it's because some people make decisions to change their lives based on science, based on facts. Sometimes it's getting a sign and things like that. And also, too, we know that stories play a huge part. So that's one of the reasons that we say that. And also, too, here as Global Wave creators, we are all here on a mission to change the world, to make it better for the next generation, to take responsibility and accountability for our actions and the part that we play into, being here on this planet. So this movement is bigger than just us. We had lots of stories that we wanted to hold space for this evening, so it will just be just a few, but just to get it started, my name's Aisa. I have been a part of this movement, and I feel really honored to be able to share for the last 6 years. Now I get to travel the world with my husband and help people all day, every day, but it wasn't always like this. I moved to the United States for the American Dreams about 15 years ago. And I did the thing, right? I went to school, I got the degree, I got the corporate job. I followed this recipe that we see in the movies when we grow up in other countries of the American dream. And I found myself really feeling stuck. Like I would wake up to an alarm that said, wake up to go to work. Anybody else has felt that before? Put a one in the chat if your alarm, ever has been to go to work, not for yourself, but to go to work, right? And put a two in the chat if you've ever felt like you were meant for more than that. You were meant for more than just working to pay the bills or build somebody else's dream. So cue in the search and the yearning to find something that I could do that was meaningful, where we could help people, and stop compromising, right? Finding something where we could help people physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and that's good for the planet. Well, some people, right? Many people told me that would be like finding a unicorn, right? And you have to choose one. You have to choose one area. I'm super grateful I found Enagic in this movement because it allowed me to be able to help other people in all of these areas, but also change my life completely. So, a little bit about the movement. And if you are brand new here, getting to learn about it for the first time, please, please, please make sure you reach out to the person who introduced you to this webinar, to this community call, so that you can learn more about the actual movement, about the technology, the things like that. Today will be very focused on stories, but you are witnessing a movement that is all about taking back control of our health, being a part of the solution for the planet, living a sustainable lifestyle, being a part of a community of supportive individuals that want to see each other wins. And at the end of the day, all boils down to this: being the change that we want to see, starting with ourselves and then allowing it to ripple to others as well too. So it's global, it's worldwide. Although I am in the United States right now, again, reach out to the person who invited you to see how far it really spans. Just a little bit of info for those who are just coming in for the first time and don't know too much about Enagic. It's a movement, it's a company that originally started in Japan, which is one of the blue zone. And Enagic stands for energy and magic. Again, not going to do a whole presentation on the technology of the company for you. You can reach out to the person who invited you, watch some videos, things like that. But I wanted to really mention it today so that you realize that we are talking about a movement that started with water. That when we talk about water, we see water as life, and it's returning to origin, right? It's coming back to the concepts of returning to what we are mostly made of, what our planet is mostly made of, and having a simple technology that could seem so silly that just water could have all these, different impacts. But today you'll get to see just how far it spans. And then from there, the movement expanded to addressing everyday toxins, right? Because it doesn't make sense to drink the healthiest water and then shower into contaminated water, breathe contaminated air, or eat food, that has pesticides on them, or use electronics without protection. So we do have other solutions that you might hear mentioned tonight. I'm just bringing it up so that when people share, oh, I have this story with the Ukon, I have this story with the M-Guard, I have this story with the Anespa, you're not like, what is that? What are we talking about? It's a new language. So, on that note, I mentioned this a little bit already. You're going to hear testimonials ranging from a variety of different areas, and that's because truly this is built on those principles that health is not just physical, it's not just mental, it's not financial, and that also added spiritual as well too. So, on that note, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. The information that is going to be shared today is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice. We will have a special guest tonight who is a holistic health practitioner and expert. But on that note, same for him as well too. When he speaks, he is not your doctor or anything like that, okay? Use your own common sense, connect the dots for yourself. So first up, I am super excited to introduce a woman who I recently got the honor to connect with, and since then have witnessed just how big her heart is and how far it spans, and her passion for helping people, and also you get to really see how somebody is when you get to go into their home and see how they are with their family, how they take care of their kids and things like that. So without further ado, Tara, I'm super excited to hear your story and for you to share with everyone just how Enagic changed your life. Now, I know you could probably tell a 15-minute story of all the different ways, but for first, I would love to hear, how did you first hear about Enagic, and what problems did it solve for you? What are the different things that you experience?
Awesome, Aisa. Thank you so much for having me on here. I cannot wait to hear from Stu Sweeney. He is phenomenal. I've heard him speak many, many times, and I always learn more and more. Oh my gosh, you can dive way into the science with that man. He's amazing. And just the heart-centered nature of this entire team. I love it so much. I'm so grateful to be here. So thank you. I actually first learned about the Enagic product line from the Kangen water about 8 years ago, and it honestly was not on my radar. I had been in holistic health for over 15 years, and at the time when it came into my life, I was thinking that water was just water. I was already, I'm from Colorado, but I live in Orlando, Florida, and I was used to drinking. I mean, I've carried my, water bottle around with me everywhere I go, and drink, a gallon of water every day for years. And it happened when I was going through my own healing crisis. I have a son who's 19 months old. I'm actually pregnant again right now with another baby that's going to be born in the end of June. And I'm 41 years old. So this baby will be born when I'm 42. Had no issues conceiving. And I do have a lot to say about the water. It has been such a blessing and an answer to prayer, because after my son was born, I was dealing with a lot of foot pain, guys. My feet were so painful. I joke that I moved to Florida so I could live on the beach and not have to wear socks and shoes anymore. And like I could not wear flip-flops. My feet hurt so bad. I was injured at the hospital actually when the nurse put the IV in my wrist. She nicked a nerve. So I had a 10-pound baby, very severe pain in my joints, and was desperate. And all the normal frequency devices, essential oils, supplements, things that I could normally take to address inflammation in my body was not working. And I literally sat in prayer and I asked our Creator, God, please show me what I need to heal my body. And I just kept hearing water, water, water. Turns out the water that I had been drinking was filtered, and I thought that was good. Well, it turned out it was actually filtering out the essential minerals, which I'm sure Stu will talk all about, and it was turning my water acidic. It was actually robbing my body of energy and causing inflammation. And when we started getting knowledge about, hydrogen water, I went down the rabbit hole. I was looking at everything, the hydrogen water bottles, the other ionizers, all the competitors, there's got to be something out there that, cost effectively, I thought would be cheaper. Guys, this product is phenomenal. It's the only medical grade device on the market. And when it works fast. I will tell you, my first cup of water that I drank, I literally felt like I drank a cup of coffee. Like it gave me energy, it perked me up. I looked at my husband, I'm like, "Do you feel that too?" He's like, "Yeah, this is something special." And fast forward 4 days into drinking this water, I literally stepped out of bed for the first time in 9 months with no pain in my feet. If you know what that is like to have foot pain, chronic foot pain every day and try and walk around and chase a baby around, like it was not easy. And 2 weeks later, the pain in my wrist was gone. Super, super grateful that my joints responded amazingly to this water. And you guys, as a breastfeeding mama, it helped my production. I was producing like 4 to 4.5 ounces per feeding. And literally, after starting to drink this water, I was up to 6.5 and 7 ounces per feeding of pumping. It was great. So, super grateful for that. Also, I was, after my son was born, of course, we know that babies require a lot of minerals and hydration in the womb when they're growing. Well, it can lead to tooth decay. And I was faced with a diagnosis from my dentist saying that I had 5 cavities. And I have like been such a stickler for good oral hygiene, so I was not happy about that. Of course, they wanted to fill and drill right away, and I was like, we're just going to hold off. I just got this machine, and I knew that there was a tooth protocol in Dr. Peggy Parker's book. If you don't want to have that, definitely let somebody know. We can get you that. Started the tooth protocol, went in 6 months later for my follow-up exam, and my dentist was floored. I had no cavities, you guys. I'm not joking. It was amazing. So I saved money there. I saved my teeth. And I love the acidic water as well, the 2.5 that we have. I've literally been able to, and I've already been, using the cleaner products that don't contain bleach and ammonia and, using like vinegar sprays and things like that around my house. But I've literally been able to turn my home into a chemical-free sanctuary. I have a spray bottle of this water in my purse. If my son drops his little teething toy or something, or we're out at Costco or shopping carts, like I can just literally spritz water on his hands and sanitize without using any sort of harmful chemicals. So thank you so much, Aisa. This is just such an incredible blessing. And wow, to be part of this Global Wave creators community. Oh my gosh, like you guys are this is what it's all about.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much for taking the time to share. I know you got the little one at home as well too. You brought so much value, and I'm so happy for you to hear all of the ways it's been serving you. And I want everyone, when you're listening to testimonials, to take out golden nuggets. We'll say take out golden nuggets that you can apply to your life as well too, to people around you that you love. And Tara, you are already healthy. You're already doing so many things, right? You shared testimonials from dental, from pain, from birthing, from cleaning, like, and we're just getting started. So I'm excited to be able to help change some lives together here. Um, do you want to introduce Jonathan as well too, so he can share as well so his story?
I would love to. Yes, I'd love to introduce you guys to my husband, Jonathan Miles. And you guys, he's very skeptical and very open-minded at the same time, which I think is a great place to come from as a spouse. He has a background in nuclear engineering. He works in the cancer industry, treatment industry. He's a prior U.S. Navy diver, and he just really absorbs science. So when he heard about this, he dove way, way deep into all that. I'll let him share more of his story. And he has an incredible story to share with his own personal healing from this water as well. So thanks, Hun, for being on. Appreciate you.
Thanks, sweetheart. Yes, my name's Jonathan Miles. I'm the super skeptical husband. As Tara mentioned, my background, I have a tendency to just not just accept what I'm told about certain things of biology or science or engineering. So she was telling me about this amazing water and how we need to get this machine. Um, I wasn't jumping on it immediately, but I've always been supportive of her ambitions and her health, uh, her always striving for optimal health. And it wasn't up until we did our testing on our own water that we were at our house that had a filtration. We had filtered water at our house, and it was a 6 pH. It was literally acidic in our house, and we've been drinking a lot of water. My wife definitely drinks a gallon a day, and I felt kind of guilty that this is what we were drinking in our house. So I told her I could go ahead and get the machine. We're going to go ahead and use the heck out of it and see what happens. For myself, I wasn't expecting anything. My wife was the one that was dealing with a few things. But what I noticed was 3 days into using this water, the aches and pains that I have in my feet that I've had for over, 10 years. I was a prior U.S. Navy diver, so I was in the nuclear world in the Navy, but also a diver on the submarine. So my body's pretty wrecked from what I did. And 3 days of drinking this water, all of a sudden, this foot pain that I would normally have in the mornings just went away. My wife literally had the same exact response, the very next day for herself, which was awesome because we've been dealing with this for quite some time. Um, so fast forward, I kept drinking the water for every single day, at least a gallon, sometimes more. And 60 days into it, I dropped 30 pounds from
Wow.
just drinking the water. And so my science brain dove head into it, trying to figure out what exactly does this water do. I went on complete faith of what my wife wanted. And then after that, I took off and started diving into the science. I won't go into that because I'm sure you can find all the details yourself. But I went from super skeptical to talking to anybody that wants to hear about it. So thanks for having me, Aisa.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you both. Let me ask you this really quick. What is your favorite number?
My favorite number is 7.
7. And Tara?
Hey, I was gonna say 777.
Perfect. 777. Y'all go ahead. You already know what to do. Drop some sevens in the chat just to say thank you to Jonathan and Tara for sharing their testimonials. It takes a lot of strength and courage to come and share vulnerable parts, right, of our lives and of our stories. But I know you both did it with the heart and the intention to be able to help the next person. And we appreciate you for that. So, next guest is actually someone who has become a best friend for me, but I still remember the very first day she walked into our home. It was for a water presentation. We mixed it with yoga. We did yoga y agua, just to really open up our minds, right? Because I understand the skepticism that can come from hearing about how just water can really change your life like that, right? And she came in through a friend, of a friend who thought that maybe we could help, and we have become really close friends since then. She has the biggest heart. Let me see if I can find Jamie. She has the biggest heart in the world. And just you being in the room with her, I know that your day and your night is going to be shining brighter. So, Jamie, thank you for being here and for coming on to share your story. What's on your heart this evening? How has this movement changed your life?
Oh, thank you for the wonderful introduction. You're so sweet. And when I say Aisa saved my life, like I do not say that lightly. Like I think about that daily, just how I truly would not be here without this water. It's a huge part of my life, my story, why my baby girl is here. But yeah, it's crazy that it all started with a yoga class and water. Like I was 31 years old when I got diagnosed with breast cancer. My husband and I, we were actually trying to conceive. Recently, I thought about this in the way I'd share, and I was like, I feel like it's important to like go back just a little bit because I wasn't in touch with my body. I think that happens to a lot of us where we're just like flying by the seat of our pants, working and not tuning in. So a year prior to my breast cancer diagnosis, I had an umbilical hernia that I kind of just like went through surgery for, no big deal, life goes on. And then I get diagnosed with breast cancer. And this water came to me in just such a pivotal time where I was going through chemotherapy, having all of the life sucked out of me, and like a gift from God, from the heavens, like it is. Aisa and this water just filled me with life. I mean, some days I couldn't get out of bed. I noticed a significant difference when I was drinking the water and when I wasn't. It gave me energy. I was going to yoga. More importantly, I was able to feel out those issues because it was healing my gut and tapping into the real healing process that our bodies are all capable of. this water, supporting that in all ways. And it's truly amazing what we can do when we are fueling our systems with this living hydrogen water. I would go back into isolation when I wasn't getting the water, and I'd come out of my shell, and Aisa would still be there and be like, because it took us a little while to get a machine. And once we started drinking it consistently, I noticed the changes in my husband, him dropping weight, him getting off his diabetes medicine, his blood sugar being lower. And when cancer treatment was over and we had the water machine, we were praying we'd still get to have a baby. And they were like, oh, you're probably going to have to do IVF. And I was like, watch me, watch me. And I was off the medicine that is like the hormone blocker for 2 months. And we got pregnant with Ellie naturally. And she is like the healthiest. I had the best pregnancy. I mean, all things considered, right? Like morning sickness, I think is a little inevitable, but the 2.5, it works really well for that. And she came out the womb drinking Kangen water. Like she's running, talking. Like I look at her and I'm like, you were just heavenly. And this is just what our kids need, so they don't have to go through all that gunk of making it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, thank you so much for sharing. I also didn't know that Mark was able to get off of the diabetes medicine. Not surprising, but absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for sharing. In the moments, and this is just transparently and vulnerably for everyone in the room, it can be hard to be the crazy water person sometimes in your circle, right? Being on a mission to educate other people about the one thing we all do every day, but we all feel is pretty fine. And in those moments where I'm like, I think about your story, Jamie, it brings me to tears, and then I go back out, put my cape on, and I'm like, you never know whose life we can be changed by sharing that story. So thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I will see you soon. Oh, what's your favorite number?
333.
All right. Well, you're all getting the hang of it. You know what to do. Go ahead and put some 333s in the comments just to show some gratitude. Jamie, you shared some very vulnerable parts of your story as well too. We appreciate it. This is about the time where I will acknowledge that English is not my first language. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, but if you hear me stumbling with my words, it's because it's French, which on that note, I'm super excited to bring a dear family friend of ours who is visiting from France. She speaks a little English, but she heard we were putting this call together. She also has just very, very inspiring and moving story. And she asked if she could share in French. How do y'all feel about that? You want to put some four in the comments, learn some French with us this evening? Go ahead and put some 444. We should say some oui, 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 oui. Let's go. So let me go ahead and bring her in. Odile, je vais te faire venir avec moi sur l'écran et puis c'est moi qui vais traduire ton histoire ce soir pour tout le monde. Merci d'être là.
Merci Aïssa de me permettre de partager mon histoire et celle de ma famille aussi.
Avec plaisir. She said, thank you so much for allowing me to share my story and my family story too.
Désolée, je parle pas anglais, mais c'est un de mes prochains objectifs.
Sorry, I don't speak English, but it's one of my future goals.
Alors, depuis de nombreuses années, je souffre de fibromyalgie.
For
Et,
many years. Oh, vas-y. Tu peux faire plus
et
longtemps.
voilà. Et grâce à Aïssa et à Laurence, j'ai pu connaître l'eau Kangen et puis la tester. Et au bout de quelques temps, assez rapidement, j'ai eu des améliorations au niveau des douleurs.
So she's saying that for many years she suffered from fibromyalgia, and thanks to Laurence is my mom as well, and myself for sharing the water with her, she was able to learn about the benefits, to try it, and very quickly she was able to see improvements.
Je me suis rendue chez ma neurologue pour des contrôles Et je lui ai raconté mon histoire et elle n'a pas été surprise de voir une amélioration suite au changement de mon eau et de mon pH au niveau de l'eau aussi.
So she went to her neurologist and they were able to run some tests. And she shared with her that the change that she made was from the water. And actually, her doctor was not surprised to see those improvements, like from the neurology side of things.
Faut préciser qu'aucun médecin n'avait pu me soulager depuis toutes ces années et personne n'avait trouvé de solution.
Combien d'années?
Au moins 10 ans.
And she is saying that she really wants to emphasize and precise that no doctor until that point had been able to help her for over 10 years.
Et juste avec l'eau, je parcours le monde entier maintenant. Je marche sur mes deux jambes. J'ai laissé tomber mes cannes et mon fauteuil roulant, parfois, que j'utilisais.
Ah, tu vas me faire pleurer. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm getting emotional. She's saying that just thanks to that change, she's now able to travel the world and she was able to no longer need her wheelchair and her cane, and she's able to go all over the world.
Ça s'arrête pas qu'à moi, du reste, l'histoire, puisque j'ai partagé mon eau avec ma famille, mes amis et d'autres personnes, bien évidemment, et de nettes améliorations ont été constatées.
So she's saying that she didn't let it stop with her. She then started to share with her family, with her children, with her grandchildren, with her cousins, and now she's starting to see the stories in her family as well.
On a constaté que les migraines avaient disparu chez nous, chez mon fils
Migraines
et
went
ma fille.
away. Migraines went away for her son and her daughter.
Les problèmes de côlon irritable.
Um, Gut issues, also no longer a problem.
Un meilleur transit chez des invités qui venaient à la maison et qui, pendant 2, 3 jours, et qui constataient sur une courte durée l'amélioration qu'ils avaient.
And even when she would have friends and guests come over just for a few days, they would notice that they would be able to go to the bathroom. People that had constipation just from staying with her for a few days would notice that magically when they go over her house, they can go.
Et ce qui est le plus émouvant, c'est ma cousine qui a 17 ans, qui a une endométriose et qui a réussi à soulager ses douleurs et reprendre ses études enfin, sans problème.
And the one of the biggest one has been from her cousin's daughter who is 17 and suffers from endometriosis that was keeping her out of school from the pain, and that made a huge difference for her as well too.
Ensuite, chez ma fille aînée et mes petits-enfants, on a constaté très rapidement des peaux beaucoup moins sèches sur les bébés et moins de problèmes au niveau des rougeurs du fessier.
And then her daughter has babies and has kids, and they notice a huge difference on the babies as well too. Their skin, like is not dry and things like that. They're very hydrated.
Et juste en changeant, en buvant leur eau et puis avec la Nespa aussi. Ça a été très intéressant.
And also too, it was the drinking water and also the Anespa, which is the shower unit we talked about earlier in the beginning.
Et maintenant, je suis aux États-Unis et pour quelque temps et j'ai laissé mon N-Guard à ma fille aînée pendant mon absence et elle a constaté que les enfants dormaient beaucoup mieux et eux aussi du coup.
So now that she's here in the States, she gave her M-Guard, which is this one here, is the EMF protection to her daughter to have for the kids. And they're already noticing that the kids are sleeping more, they're going to bed, like they're more regulated. So it's better for the parents all around as well.
J'ai bien peur de ne pas pouvoir le récupérer.
And she's scared she's not going to be able to take it back from them.
Voilà, donc ma vie a complètement changé. C'est magique.
Super, merci. So she is saying that her whole life has changed, has been magical. Merci Odile. C'est quoi ton numéro préféré?
Le 18.
Je vais demander à tout le monde de mettre des 18 dans le chat pour te dire merci d'avoir partagé ton histoire. Est-ce que tu avais des derniers mots avant qu'on arrête?
Je remercie tout le monde de m'avoir écouté. Et puis, merci à Enadjic, Aïssa, Laurence. Grâce à vous tous, ben voilà, je vais mieux, je vais bien.
So she just wants to take a moment to thank everybody for listening to her and listening to her story and Enagic changed her life. And I can see someone. Merci Odile.
Et je suis ravie de faire partie de cette famille.
And she feels really grateful to be a part of this movement. So Odile is the testament of starting just for health and starting just with the water being the base and then adding on and adding the shower and adding the EMF protection and adding the Ukon, and she has all of those different ones incorporated and then taking it out and creating a beautiful ripple effect in her family. So I saw somebody speaks French in here, put some 18s already in the chat, but that is her favorite number. Go ahead and drop some 18s in the chat to say merci, to say thank you to Odile for sharing her story. We appreciate it. All right, let's see if our next guest is here. How much time do we have? Monica? Is Monica here? Not yet. Okay. So I will take a quick moment actually to share a personal story. Is that okay with y'all? Can we get to know each other a little bit? So, I shared with you that when I started with this, it was, I wanted to be able to help other people. But very quickly, you're catching the thread from everyone's story. I also realized that that impact can start at home. And it happened for me when I was listening to a podcast on Spotify. I was looking for information about this water. What were people experiencing? I heard a gentleman share the story of his dad and how the water made a huge difference for dementia. And at that time, my grandpa was starting to show some signs of cognitive decline. Now, if anybody has ever had any family members go through Alzheimer's, you can put a 7 in the chat. It's very, challenging and difficult to witness. Granted, my grandpa was not diagnosed, but I lost other grandparents to it. And so I started to freak out a little bit because I was here in the United States and he was in France. And when I called him and I was talking with my family about incorporating the water, they told me, similar to what Tara shared, being in Colorado near the mountains, we already have good water, right? Our water comes from the mountains, it comes from the spring. But I knew there was something different from what I was hearing. So I did something I'm really proud of, and I forced my grandpa to drink the water. Want to know how I did it? I bought him the machine. I made some sacrifices. I stopped getting my nails done. I stopped Uber Eats. I stopped ordering drinks when I would go out to eat. All the little places we can get back $50 to $60 a month. And I had it ordered to him. Because when it came time for him to think about drinking the water, he said, Aisa, even if you have the money, I would rather you buy a plane ticket and you come and visit me. And I remember that day, my heart, I had to tell him, Grandpa, even if I have the money to come, I don't have enough PTO. So I'm sharing this story with you for multiple reasons. It's a health story and it's also a freedom recollection story as well too, because thanks to him being able to drink the water from those sacrifices, we were able to see improvements. His doctor told him, I don't know what you're doing. You were going to need a knee replacement. Now you have another 10 years. Now this is 6 years later. My grandpa is 93. He's here in the other room. He still flies here every winter from France. He came to our wedding in Costa Rica. We got to hike in the heat. He went to Colorado to visit his brother. We're talking about a 90 years young person. So if you have anyone in your life that ever says it's too late for me, I'm this age or this or that, share with them my grandpa's story. And I can share with you later some pictures of him skiing as well too. But following this quick interruption with my personal story, I am going to bring on, so we had a few people that wanted to share. We weren't sure if we were going to have time. We are going to have time. Carla, I'm thinking of you. Are you still able to share your story this evening with everyone?
Yes, I can.
All right, awesome. So Carla has an amazing story. I'm not sure exactly all the parts that you're going to share, but I just resonate with so many parts of your stories, and I'm excited that you can take the time to share here this evening. Thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it over to you. And what's on your heart, sister?
I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible because there's so many parts to it. But the first one is but this is how you know I have ADHD without me saying it. I bought it, didn't use it for almost a month because I didn't even know what I had bought. And when I first heard,
Oh, we lost you. We see you, but we can't hear you. If you have struggled with ADHD or currently feel like you
sorry,
struggle with it, put an
I don't
8
know
in
what
the
I
comments.
pressed, but
You're good.
anyway, I
You're good.
bought the machine. I didn't use it for almost a month. I was like, I don't even know what I bought, but I bought it. Um, but anyway, as soon as I used it, before that, I had horrible, horrible heartburn. So did my husband. We had to sleep upright. That's how bad it was. And at first we were like, we don't even know if this is doing anything. Like, let's just use it because we have it. But after about a month, we realized that our heartburn had like literally disappeared. And this is like why my husband fell in love with the machine. This is not a so healthy habit, but he likes to drink beer, and he absolutely could not drink beer anymore or eat any spicy food because the minute that he would start almost like throwing up, like it would just all the acid would come up, and he realized that with this water he could actually go back to drinking beer. And he's like, oh, I can now eat spicy food. I can drink my beer once in a while. And for him, it was life changing because I mean, it's kind of the thing that you do in a Hispanic culture when you go to parties, and he would have to say, oh no, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. But it was life changing for him in that perspective. However, for me, it has been cooking. For some reason, when I eat avocados or pineapples or melons, I used to break out in like hives around my mouth. And when I started washing the produce with the 11.5, all of a sudden, no more sores, no more blisters. And I'm like, the only thing that I can deduce that what it is, and I'm sorry, I talk really fast. It's the water. And it's incredible how just by me washing my produce with that, it took care of that, and I'm able to enjoy those fruits and veggies that I couldn't before because I was allergic, but I was actually allergic to the pesticides.
Mm.
I don't know if I have any more time to keep going because I have more.
Let's hear one more story. This is so good.
One more. Okay, so I have facial hair. I know, big shocker. But I actually recently did this like hair removal cream, and it gave me a chemical burn. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have like this red face and I'm not to go out like that. And I know this isn't necessarily the water, but it is the Ucan supplement that comes in a capsule with like turmeric and other oils. Well, I popped that capsule and I put it on as a face mask. 15 minutes, it was gone. That chemical burn was like completely gone. And I was like just so impressed because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go out. I don't know how I'm going to like face my husband because he's going to be like, what did you do to your face? And it was just so impressive.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love the variety too of stories that you brought here. And thank you for bringing testimonials about the Ukon as well too. I'm so glad that you did. Even just like the allergies, like that, the beer. McKenna put in the chat for those watching the recording. I know a lot of dudes that would love to hear that. So thank you for sharing. It's the little things, right? It's the little things
Yes.
that create the big ripples. What is your favorite number, sister?
6.
6. All right. You all already know what to do. Go ahead and put some sixes in the comments. Were you going to share about ADHD? Carla, if you have something to share about ADHD, can you put it in the comments as well? I can speak for myself. I used to be on medication for years. I've been medications free for 6 years from the very first month. used to drink 3 espressos a day. Some days haven't really felt the need to take them to. They're multifunctional. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So next testimonial is going to be someone who is very near to my heart, actually. He became my husband, and we are celebrating 4 years since our first date, which is also coincidentally about 4 years since the first water share that I did with him. It really started with a bag, and a lot of his friends would start saying, "Oh my gosh, she put something in the water," all of these things. But I'm so excited for y'all to get to hear from Mustafa, because you're gonna get to feel it. His energy is infectious. But beyond that, I do want to share, you are always sharing peace, love, and happiness everywhere that you went, and it's been so exciting and beautiful to be on this journey with you of creating the freedom through that as well. So I'll pass it over to you, love.
Okay. What's up, everybody? You already know what it is. I want to say thank you, love. I really gratefully appreciate you 100% and the things that you do in the community. So I just want to say thank you so much of what you do, and you make me a better person every day when I wake up, and that's real. And I love you so much. Hey, I love to get that all day long. 100%. Wow. The stories of everybody. I mean, I'm listening and I'm like, okay, where's my tissue paper at right now? Because this is everybody that's on here, it's real life stories, and I love it. I love it. It brings so much joy in my heart. I cannot even explain it. But let me get to my story. Oh my God, my story is funny, but it's so true. When when I met Aisa, I honestly thought that she was the crazy water lady, 100%. I'm talking about, like, I was like, what? Who is this woman? You know what I mean? Like, telling me to try this water. And I'm like, I'm healthy. I don't need no water. I'm good. I cured myself of diabetes. Like, I'm like healthy. Again, 6 months. She tried to tell me, look, I got to be honest with you. The biggest problem I had, and most people on this planet, it was my big ego. My ego was so big that I did not even want to listen to her. And I got to say this, some people miss an opportunity because their ego is that big, and I got to be honest with you. And after that, and I said, you know something, let me try this. Let me see what she's talking about. And I remember this, when she came over, and I'm really bougie with my water. Like, I mean, I had oh my God, Fiji. I used to love Fiji. I had Fiji, Essentia, I had smart water, and I really wasn't that smart drinking that smart water. But I had all of these things. And I'm thinking to myself, like, whatever she's gonna do, it can't beat this right here. This is what I'm thinking. I always say this, when you see something, you can never unsee it. She showed me something that blew my mind. And I'm like, what? What is this? This doesn't make sense. What my wife did, she left a seed. She educated me so much. She left a seed in my brain that anytime that I would go to 7-Eleven, anytime I would go to any convenience store, anytime that I pick up that microplastic bottle water, she left that seed. Is like, okay, what am I really doing? What am I really doing to my body? I just saw something. She just proved it to me. My eyes is not lying. And I'm thinking, like, I can't drink this. And I'm like, whatever I need to do, whatever I need to do. And I remember something, and I want to paint a vision for you all. I remember after I saw it, I got the machine, and I was talking, we was just talking, and I asked her, I said, do you think I will be good, like doing this? And she looked at me and she said, you would be better in me, but I only look for people that really want to help the community. And my mind was blown. I'm like, okay, all right. And what I did, I ended up, people thought I was crazy at work. I ended up leaving my job in 90 days. I wrote on my board, I'm leaving my company in 90 days. And I left my company in 90 days. Since then, it's going to be 4 years coming up since I've been doing this with my wife. Listen to me, I never ever had a passport 4 years ago. Never had a passport 4 years ago. Now we've been to, I don't know how many countries, helping thousands of people
Over
around the world.
12 or 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
helping people all around the world. For me, this mission is so big. And this is what like this here, the testimony call. I love this so much because me being in this business for 4 years, and we all built a community of peace, love, happiness, and what? And freedom.
Freedom.
This is a real thing. And I have to say, just this is just so amazing. And I talk from excitement because I am excited because I see what this is doing. And all the people that's on a call, whoever invite you on this call, get right back to them and say, hold up, what is going on? What is this good energy? What is this good vibe? Because this is a real thing. Hearing Tara's story, hearing Jamie's story, hearing everybody's stories. This is what I live for every day. I live for a phone call to say, you know something? This is what this water have done for me. This is what the Ukon have done for me. This is what the Imgard have done for me. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I love this. I wake up every day to hear stories like this. This is why this is a movement. And I want to say thank you so much for even having me a time to speak.
course.
And I got to say this before I leave. I always say this because I mean so much. It's about that peace, everybody. It's about that love, everybody. It's about that freedom, everybody. It's about that. Now, when you get off this call, you go to your loved ones and you hug them really tight. And you look at them and say, things need to change. That's why I say change your water. Change your what?
Change your life.
Change your life. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now you see why I was so excited when he asked me, do you think I could help people with this? I'm like, we can help so many people here together. I mean, go ahead and drop some 21s. Mustafa, Tara said, what's your number? 21? 21? 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. It's so special, right? To be able to wake up every day and ask yourself, I mean, you heard so many testimonials about health, but I want you to also think about heart. And how would it feel like to wake up every day and approach it with curiosity of whose life could I change today? Who could I help? Who could I serve? Never knowing. Some people, I think, that are here on the call, we met in a grocery store, or we met at the gym, or we met on the plane, or we met on social media, or you were already in our lives. And look at, you have something else?
Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm so
good?
sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to share this. I want to share this with you all. I met this gentleman, and he was in a hospital, and he called me from the hospital, and he came into a Magic store today. His name is David. He came into the store today, and I just educated him about something, and he wrote me a message. And Aisa, read what this says to the
I don't
people.
know if I can read everything.
This is
Hey,
short.
hey, I love this Zoom. Thank you. Which water do I need to buy for Dontrell dad that has leukemia? Can you please bring it tomorrow? I want
One
to
in
do
Albuquerque.
to
And
hello?
Sorry.
yeah.
Coming in. Oh, okay. I was like, is David on right now? Correct. But basically saying thank you. And yeah, that he's excited to be able to share with other people as well too. So
This only thing I gotta say, this is what I'm talking about 100%. I just got off with you all and I said I love to get messages like that. And I just picked up my phone and that was the message that I got. That's what I'm talking about. My day and my heart. Oh, come on, everybody, let's go.
all right, don't go anywhere. We have one more share.
By the way, this is David.
David,
Hey,
hello.
David,
Hey,
hello.
and I'm sorry my camera's not working, but I'm new, obviously, to the family here. But I want to share with something with you. When we first met, which was in one of my hotels last year, we knew that we had something of a connection. We weren't sure 100% what it was. And I didn't know really about the water, to be honest with you. But all I can share with everybody at this point is all I really want to do at this point now, which is a part of my mission and my journey and my legacy, my older years at this point, is to continue to help the growth of the betterment of happiness for other people. So whether that's your mind, health, body, spirit, or physical elements. And I know that God has placed me with these two amazing, amazing gifts and angels. And today, honestly, we could have spent with my king there, buddy. I could have spent probably 20 hours. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, how the heck do I just dive in and just do all this together? So I'm very much looking forward to growing in this family. And also, I think it's important for everyone to understand that we also need to help each other through all of this too. So, and that's something that I know in both of these beautiful ambassadors of great spirit and frequency and energy that I am honored and blessed to become a part of it. And I feel like I was a little chosen, to be honest with you. So that's that. And I will tell you, Dentrell is actually on this call because I couldn't stop and I had to like get on the Zoom, get on this call. And he's listening. And we're just delighted together to be welcome. So, and thank you for everyone. I'm sorry I took a little of your quality time of of this Zoom, but I just wanted to share my introduction.
Look, no apologies needed at all. This is a community. We're not robots here. We're everyday humans, and appreciate you coming on and sharing live with everyone. And oh my goodness, now I'm conflicted because I had also someone else who wanted to share their story from their dad. And Stu, I see you're here as well too. Do you all mind if we add just one more story?
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do
Okay
it.
with me.
Stu, is that okay with you?
Yes,
Four,
can you
four,
hear
four, four,
me?
four. Do it. Do
Yes,
it. Do it.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. I
Can
was
hear.
on mute for so long I didn't know if you knew I was here.
We know you're here and we appreciate you. I saved you for last. I know you're going to add so much value for everyone's too. Everyone has been able to impact thousands and thousands of lives with his knowledge and with the water. So make sure that you stay tuned in. I can't say any story is the best because the truth is you will hear and you will get what you're meant to get. But don't go anywhere. I see Christina is here. And Christina, you had mentioned possibly being able to share, maybe not. Do you have space to share this evening a little bit about your story?
Yes, I went to the front desk. I was like, "Do you have a business room?" And they like put me in the entire conference room. So I'm here by myself.
Okay. Can you share in a few minutes what was on your heart and what you felt called to share with everyone here today?
Yeah, so my dad's a cancer patient and he's been a cancer patient for 13 years now. And I lost my mother to cancer 15 years ago, almost 16. So to be able to find this water for him and not really know what the impact was going to be was just huge to me. I had found some other products and things like that that helped, but obviously water is the base for everything. So that I think has moved the needle more than anything has. And he's got a lot of friends that are getting prostate cancer, all the same type of cancer that he has. And it's been really, really interesting to them to look at him because outside of, doing the chemo now for a year, we're 13 years in and he just had to start chemo, but he's lost his beard and lost his hair, but it's growing back. But outside of that, he doesn't look like any of them. He doesn't look sick. He doesn't look, yellow. He doesn't look pale. He actually still can get up and do the ins and outs of everything. Unfortunately, we have some complications from radiation. So he has radiation poisoning of his bladder. And that's the biggest thing that we're dealing with right now. We've got to get that under control to be able to move on to anything else. But because of the bleeding in his bladder, we realized that when it happens, if he can immediately start pushing this water as fast as possible, he can actually eliminate the fact that he has to go to the ER or, have a lot of other things that need to happen. He still has quite the appetite. He lost 36 pounds to begin with when he started chemo. He's gained that back in the last year, but he's got an appetite. His gut health is better than most, but I really contribute a lot of that. He doesn't have the numbness and tingling in his hands and feet, which are things that they are telling him he should already have and things going on. And I really do contribute that to the water and the fact that he can detox the influx of poison that they're putting in his body on a regular basis. So, it blows me away to see just how he's been able to deal with the chemo and the things that they said would put him down and shift who he is and everything else. And he goes in with the best attitude, which we know that is a big, big part of that too, that high vibration with, happy and joy and things like that, even in the things that he's dealing with. So, anybody that's dealing with cancer, we hear it all the time. He does the 9.5 most of the time now. He was just getting a minimum of 2 liters of water a day. That was the minimum he could have. And I've looked at him like, you've got to increase that. You've got to increase that. And he's up to a gallon, if not more, a day. And he just feels like a different person. His energy levels are still there. It's amazing to see in the journey everything that he's dealing with, but the way he's able to handle it just surprises me time over time. So that's all I wanted to share.
I want to thank you so much for sharing that, and I can't imagine how you're feeling to be able to have that now. And thank you for sharing also too the part of the story with your mom, right? And I hope everyone gets inspired by that as well too, of just sharing it, because you never know, you truly never know who's been praying for a different way. Just curiosity, Christina, was your dad trying anything else or doing anything else like lifestyle changes, or was that the only thing that he changed?
No, he's not done a whole lot of lifestyle changes. It's one of those things you can keep repeating the same things over and over again, but they only hear it when they want to hear it. So the most recent change that he has made is starting to cut out some of the sugars and things like that he was consuming. So hoping that kind of really shakes and changes the needle as well, because cancer feeds on sugar. But no, he really hasn't made a whole lot of other lifestyle changes. He does eat pretty decently. I mean, he eats kefir and kombucha. What is it? Kombucha? Is that it? The
The drink?
sauerkraut, and all
Oh,
the
yeah,
fermented
yeah, yeah,
food. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he does that kind of stuff.
Okay,
But yeah, we do CBD and things like that with him. So
gotcha.
and we've had vitamin and minerals created specifically for his body, for what he's deficient in, but he doesn't take those either. So really the water has been the biggest change for him. And that's the thing that we can still contribute to day, that he is consistently doing. Everything else is kind of ebb and flow.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing, Christina. What's your favorite number?
22,
22. Hey, me too.
two to
Drop some
tango, baby.
22s in the comments. We appreciate you so much for sharing, and I hope that you got to hear that it could literally, we're not here promising cures and magical things, although I'm not saying it's not magical as well. But it's so simple. We all are doing it every single day already. 1 glass of this water, of Kangen water, equals more antioxidants in a glass that you could get enjoyably from fruits and vegetables all day, unless you enjoy eating 5 pounds of blueberries every day. Not to mention, if they have pesticides, they still have them on that. But on that note, I will be introducing our next guest. Thank you so much, Stu, for being here this evening. We're so excited to get to hear from you, to learn from you. I'm not sure if we have officially met, but I was on a call where you spoke a couple years ago, and just the stories that you shared never left me. I always carry them with me on days that I need extra motivation of what are we doing here? How are we helping people? So, Stu, I know you are a wealth of knowledge. There's so many stories that you could share for this evening. Could you maybe choose the 2 stories that are your favorite or you feel called this evening with everyone?
Thank you, Aisha. I'm very happy to do that, and nice to meet you. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yep,
Okay.
perfect.
I'm a certified natural health professional. I've been studying health science for over 50 years now. And by far the best thing that I've ever learned of in my life is this water. There's just nothing else even close to it. I literally consider it to be the world's healthiest substance. And that's a big statement, but it's not an exaggeration. Life's all about water, and every chemical process in the body that makes life possible happens in the presence of water and depends on the presence of water. And this is by far the best water you can get. It has many, many properties that ordinary water doesn't have. So it's just been amazing. Um, I've been a distributor now with Enagic for a little over 18 years. I got my machine November 10th, 2007. It's one of those dates you'll never forget, like the day you got married and stuff like that. And congratulations to you on your 4-year anniversary. I met my wife exactly 50 years ago this week. We've been married 48 and a half now. But the water's the best thing that ever happened to my family. I had a 30-year real estate career before I came across this water. And when I did, I was just so impressed with it. I spent a month researching it. At first I was skeptical because it sounded too good to be true. So I took a month off work and I read 20 books on it. I interviewed doctors and scientists and researchers, and I listened to 350 recorded testimonials. And if I was going to start promoting it to my dad and my 12 brothers and sisters and all my friends and family and stuff like that, I had to know it was real. So I really did a deep dive on it. And the more I learned about it, the more amazed I became about it. So I walked away from a real estate career after 30 years and never looked back. And I've been doing it now ever since. And it's the best decision I ever made for my health ever and for my family. So I've got so many stories. It's hard to narrow it down. The most important ones I'm not going to tell you. I mean, the most important ones to me. It's not that I wouldn't tell you, but I just think there's a couple others you should hear that are more incredible, maybe. But what it did for my own family, I'll never forget it. Like I have 2 sons, and my oldest son was severely injured in the Marine Corps several years ago and spent 7 months flat on his back in a hospital bed, unable to move. And after a year of physical therapy, he was in just unbearable pain at most days, and the doctor said there's nothing else they could do for him. And I got him on this water, and within 3 weeks, majority of his pain was gone. His range of motion improved in only 3 weeks on this water, more than it had in a whole year of physical therapy with the Marine Corps.
Wow.
So that's because it's my son. That's a huge one for me. And my sister, Mayo Clinic diagnosed her with lupus, systemic lupus, back in 1973. Of course, at those days, nobody had ever heard of it before. And she spent 7 months in Mayo Clinic, very near death. And they put her on a drug called prednisone. This is what got me started in natural health. I've been studying it since about 1973, when they told me my sister there was no cure for, and that she'd die young, and that she shouldn't have children, and probably kidney failure. And they said that Mayo Clinic said that, nobody ever questions it because it's Mayo Clinic, but I question everything. And they said that they didn't understand how, they couldn't explain it. Nobody knew what caused it, and there was no cure for it. But somehow her immune system had gone awry, and her immune system was mistakenly attacking her own body. And the best they had to offer was something called prednisone, where it just suppresses your immune system. I mean, if you take enough of it, it knocks your immune system all the way down to nothing. And I didn't buy that. Everybody else bought into it because Mayo Clinic said it, and you don't question Mayo Clinic, but I did because I felt the only reason that we survive as a species is our immune system. It's for thousands of generations. It's what kept us alive. And how could it all of a sudden not know what it's doing? And I just thought they were reaching for straws. They didn't have the answer, so that was the best guess they could make, but I didn't believe it. So back in 1973, I started reading everything I could and researching everything I could. And every doctor I ever met, every chiropractor, every acupuncturist, I'd go to the Mother's Market in Newport Beach, and I'd look at the bulletin board and see who the guest speakers were going to be. And I'd go listen to them. And afterwards, what do you know about lupus? Everybody I ever met, what do you know about lupus? I kept trying to find an answer. And I finally did. And the answer was this Kangen water. And I got my sister on it. At first, she was sort of like that last girl that just talked about her dad, only drinking a couple of quarts of water and not taking the vitamins and stuff. I would just like to encourage you to encourage your dad. Keep at the gallon or more, because the amount you drink is the key to it. And for sure, do the vitamins and other. Give your body all the help you can. And I'm glad that he's got on the water, and I'm glad he's doing so well. But the ones that get the miracles are the ones that are drinking like 1 ounce per pound of body weight or more. So encourage him to increase that water, make it the most important thing that he does every day, more important than eating or anything else. And I would also say make sure for every gallon of the water he drinks, he gets at least a teaspoon of good quality sea salt. Because the more you drink the water, the more you're going to urinate. And every time you urinate, you're going to be losing minerals out of your body, electrolytes, and you have to replace them. If you don't replace the electrolytes, you'll start cramping up and getting cramps in your legs in the middle of the night and stuff. And if you get really depleted of electrolytes, your brain runs on them, so you can have seizures. So anytime anybody is significantly increasing the amount of water they drink, it's important to also increase your sea salt. Not regular table salt, that stuff's garbage, but good quality sea salt, like Himalayan pink salt or real salt from Redmond, Utah, or Baja Gold salt. I mean, those are great salts. All right, so anyway, back to my sister. I got her a machine, and like I think you said, Aisha, I paid half of it, and I told her if her and her husband would do half, I'd pay the other half, and encouraged her to get it. But she only did it because her brother talked her into it. She wasn't a believer in it, and she wasn't committed to it. So she drank a couple of glasses a day, and not much, I mean, she'd have maybe 2 glasses of Kangen water, maybe 3 on a good day, but then she'd have like 6 or 7 cups of coffee and maybe 4 or 5 glasses of sweet iced tea and maybe 2 Pepsi Colas. And she was just drinking so much bad stuff that that little bit of water wasn't enough to make up the difference. So she had the machine and drank the water like that for 3 or 4 years. And I mean, very little benefit that you could see because she was doing more bad than good. And then she had a heart attack, and we very nearly lost her. And that was a wake up call. And I had a real serious heart to heart talk with her that, if you don't change your ways, it's just a matter of time. And the second heart attack, you're 600% more likely not to survive it. And we don't want that to happen. I said, you got 4 grandkids, you got all these reasons to live. We all love you so much. You got to decide, you got to commit to what you have to do, or else we're going to lose you, Susie. And she said, okay, tell me what I got to do. And I said, it's real simple. Start drinking that water every day like your life depends on it. Make it the most important thing you do. And don't ever drink less than a gallon a day. And I don't care if you're just so full of water you don't eat all day. It's the water first, food second. And that's nature's rule too, You can go 30, 40 days without food, just live on the fat reserves in your body, but you can't go more than 3 or 4 days without water, you'll die. So that's my motto is water first. I never eat anything unless I drink water first. I won't eat any meal, any snack. If the kids order a pizza and it smells good, it's nice and warm, I won't touch it until I drink at least a quart and a half of water. Then I'll wait 10 minutes for it to get out of my stomach. Then I'll go enjoy the food. But so anyway, back to my sister. After the heart attack, she said, okay, I'll do it. And I said, okay, so knock off the bad stuff. Quit drinking the tea and the coffee and the sweet pop and all that kind of stuff, and just drink the water. So she started doing that. And in about 7 months, her lupus, that Mayo Clinic said was incurable, that she'd been suffering in pain every day of her life for 44 years. I mean, horrible pain for 44 years, been hospitalized 10, 15 times because the lupus would flare up and they'd put her in the hospital, put her back up to 80 or 100 milligrams of prednisone, which just devastates your body. She got 12 other diseases because of the prednisone because she had no immunity. She got shingles, phlebitis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, celiacs, endometriosis, Epstein-Barr syndrome, Sjogren's disease, a heart attack, and I could go on, shingles. I could go on and on. Anyway, she finally started drinking that gallon or more a day every day, and within 7 months, her lupus went into full remission. And she's been off prednisone now. This June will be 9 years. The lupus has been completely gone and off prednisone. This June will be 9 years. And why did that happen? Because she finally committed to drinking the amount she needed to, got serious about it. So don't ever underestimate the more you drink of this water, the more benefit you'll get from it, and the sooner you'll recover and the healthier you're going to be. So anyway, I didn't mean to give all that detail on that one, but that was very meaningful to me because that's my sister. I love her dearly. And now she's retired down to Florida. And Chris and I are talking about maybe me coming to Florida pretty soon, so I can't wait to see her. But anyway, so I could tell you about my other son, but it'd take me an hour to go into the details. But just basically, I mean, this is personal. This is my family. I mean, this has nothing to do with the thousands of other people that we've changed their life for the better and how meaningful that's all been. But just my family. My youngest son very nearly died back in December 2018. He had a tragedy, where he was severely hurt, and he ended up spending 80 consecutive days in a hospital. And when we went to the hospital and I talked to the head neurologist, and he was in the telemetry unit at Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital in downtown LA. And, you know, I asked the doctor, I want you to level with me, don't sugarcoat it, but just tell me how bad is he, before I go in there, I'd like to know. And he said, okay. And I told him, I says, I'm a health professional. I deal with people with cancer every day and life-threatening things all the time, and I can handle the truth. So he said, okay, if you put it like that, then I'm just going to say it. He said he's in really, really bad shape. He said, and he said he hasn't spoken 3 days. He can't speak. He can't swallow. He had a heart attack. He's got severe kidney damage and liver damage. He's got encephalopathy, massive brain swelling, hypoxic and toxic encephalopathy. He has septic poisoning, which that alone can kill you oftentimes. It's a really bad blood infection. He's got a urinary tract infection. He has aspirating pneumonia. He was in convulsions and he breathed back in what he was convulsing, and it caused pneumonia in his lungs. And this is the worst. He's quadriplegic. He can't move his arms. He can't move his fingers, his legs, his toes, anything. All he can do is move his head and his neck. Well, my gosh, that was quite a diagnosis to get from the guy. And I said to him, I said, well, doctor, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen anybody in this bad a condition that recovered? And he said, I can't say that I have. He said, but your son is young and he is strong. He's got that going for him. He was only 35 at the time, and he's got that going for him. So, but he said, if he ever does recover, he says, you can't think of it in terms of days or weeks. He said, you have to think of it in terms of months and most likely years and years, if ever. So I said, well, okay, well, at least he's alive. I thanked him for saving him, because he told me another 20 minutes he would have been gone. So we go in there to meet him, and we walked in the room, my wife and I and my older son. And as we walked in the room, we saw our son over there in the bed, and he turned his head and said, hi, Dad. Whew, my heart just went through my throat. I just was so excited to hear him say my name, and long story short, he was in the hospital for 80 consecutive days, and every single day I brought him a fresh gallon of this water. And I told the doctors, they were giving the patients bottled reverse osmosis water. And I said, I don't ever want you to give that garbage to my son. And I told him why, about how acidic it was and how bad it was for him, demineralized, dead water, plastic nanoparticles and all this. I said, that's not what he needs. I got this magic water here. It's incredible. I know you never heard of it. I know you don't know anything about it. But if you were a Japanese doctor, you'd know all about it, because they've been using it in their hospitals for over 60 years. And I want to bring it to my son every day. And they said, okay, you can do that. I said, okay. And so long story short, within 7 days on the water, the neurological, the not being able to swallow, that little flap there that determines whether something goes down into your stomach or into your lungs, that wasn't functioning because it's neurological. And he had massive brain damage, from encephalopathy, swelling, and all that. So, and he also had a heart attack, and that was the electrical signal from his brain was messed up, and that was causing that. So, I mean, he was so near death. It was incredible. But after 7 days, he finally was able to start swallowing again, because neurologically his body was starting to repair. The water was starting to clean out the garbage, detoxify his brain and get some of the garbage out of there, and help get rid of the swelling, get his cerebral spinal fluid moving better and draining. And after about maybe a week, 8 or 9 days, something like that, he moved his left knee. He bent his knee, and we got so excited because we actually saw it move under the sheets, And then the next day, he could move his left wrist and wiggle it just a little bit, And within a few days, he was lifting his arm up and down, but it's still nothing on his right side, absolutely nothing. He couldn't feel anything. He couldn't move anything. He couldn't even wiggle his finger or toe or nothing. But then after about 3 or 4 weeks, one day, he kept giving him the water, and over and over and over. And one day he moved his toes. We got so excited, and then next thing you know, he's moving his arms, and then little by little, he got better. But after 63 days in the hospital, he still couldn't stand, couldn't walk, couldn't feed himself, and all that kind of stuff. So, I'd always feed him and stuff. And my wife and I never left. We stayed at the hospital all 80 days. We never left him alone the whole time. The hospital was gracious. They let us live there, basically.
Wow.
But, he's our boy, and we're going to we're just thanking God that he survived, and whatever shape he was in, we were going to take it, but not give up trying either. So anyway, long story short, on I think it was the 63rd day, a couple of big physical therapy guys got him up out of bed and held him up and had him leaning on a walker and trying to see if he could move his feet, but he couldn't. His feet were touching the floor, but he couldn't move them. He tried and tried, he just couldn't do it. So next day they came in and he moved 1 foot about 2 inches. So, oh, look at that, he moved it. We got so excited. And then the next day he moved it like 6 inches. And then the next day he took 2 steps, not by himself. He had to lean on a walker, and two guys were holding him up. They put this big gate belt on him so he can't fall down. And then, next day he took 5 steps. Next day he took 11 steps. Next day he took like 16 steps, and then 30 steps. And it was a miracle to see. So anyway, after 65 days in that hospital, we had a meeting with 8 of the head doctors, head of cardiology, head of psychiatry, head of neurology, head of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, all this stuff. And just my wife and I met with him in the family room. And the purpose of the meeting was to tell us that it was time for him to move out of the hospital and go to a nursing home. And they said, they knew from talking to us that we wanted to take him home. The day he got out, we were going to take him home with us. And they said we couldn't do that we wouldn't be able to meet his needs, that his needs were so great that he would suffer. They said they admired how much we loved him and that we were dedicated to him, but you aren't professional. You won't be able to do it. So they said he's going to have to go to a nursing home for the rest of his life and probably will never get out of the wheelchair. And I said, nope, not going to believe that. Don't want to hear it anymore. Thanks for all you've done, but don't say that anymore. Don't ever say it to my son because he'll believe you. And so I said, I've got an ace in the hole. I got this water going for us. And I know you don't know about it, but I do know about it. And I know I've seen miracles over and over and over. And my son's going to have one of them. And we are going to take him home. So we got transferred to another hospital for 14 days of physical therapy, acute therapy, 3 hours a day. And on the 14th day, he walked out of that hospital. No wheelchair, no crutches, no cane. He literally walked out of the hospital, and we took him home with us. And been caring for him ever since, but now he's pretty much fully recovered. I mean, he showers himself, he dresses himself, he feeds himself, he can drive his car. We got our son back, and I know, thank God, we wouldn't have without the water. I mean, he might have survived without the water, but he never would have flourished. He never would have recovered to the extent that he has. So that's highly personal. I haven't shared that story with a whole lot of people, actually, but it isn't even the one I wanted to tell you. But when you find something that has that impact on your own family, it just it just changes your life. So real quick, if I can, I'll tell you this one that I really set out to tell you because it's so incredible. And the young lady whose father has cancer, I think that she'll be inspired by this. I'm hoping. But I had a fellow named Charles Linderman. He was 51 years old, got diagnosed. Is that beeper mean I'm out of time?
No.
Are you hearing a beeper?
There's no beeper on our side.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing a beep. Oh, no, it's on my phone. I'm sorry. I set an alarm.
You set it for yourself.
I got stuffed peppers in the oven. I forgot. So anyway, I'll have to wrap this one up or my dinner will burn. But anyway, Charles had liver cancer.
Can we
and
do
he
this
went.
too?
Pardon me?
Can we do this? I believe you are sharing. Will you be sharing this story on Thursday? Are you by chance planning to share this story?
Are you going to be on the Thursday morning call?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you're on the Difference Makers.
Yeah, well, I'll try to pop on when I can. Were you planning to share this story on Thursday by chance?
Well, it just depends on what Wade wants me to do.
Okay.
But I can make it real brief if you want, so that everybody else can hear it right now.
Yeah, because I heard it before, and I would love for everyone to hear it here as well too. It's one of the ones that definitely is the most impressive. Everybody's lives matters, but that's the one where I will never stop sharing this water because of that story. So let's hear it.
Well, thanks. I'll share it then. And I loved telling it. Charles Linderman was 51 years of age. His mother was one of 23 children. Huge. I'm one of 13 children, but his mother had 23. She had 22 brothers and sisters, and she died of cancer, and every one of her brothers and sisters died of cancer, and several of his cousins had died of cancer. So to Charles, that was the curse of his family. He figured someday he'll probably die of cancer. So at 51 years of age, he gets liver cancer. He went to the University of Wisconsin at Madison, which is considered like the Berkeley of the Midwest. It's one of the great medical schools, great reputation. And I think everything they do, well, not everything, but a lot of what they do is totally wrong. Like chemo and radiation, I'm totally against them. I would never, ever do them under any circumstance. You can never heal the body by poisoning it. You just can't. And chemo causes cancer, radiation causes cancer, chemo suppresses your T cells and your natural killer cells, the two parts of your immune system that are designed to protect you from cancer. Chemo destroys them. So just, they only do it for the money. It's horrible, and I'm totally against that. But having said that, he didn't know me, and I had never spoken to him at the time. And so he did 4 years of chemotherapy and 4 years of radiation for his liver cancer. And finally, they had to stop it because it was killing him. His kidneys literally failed because 4 years of chemotherapy poisoned him so bad he had to go on dialysis 3 days a week just to stay alive. All of his teeth fell out as a result of side effects from the radiation. So he had to get false teeth, and he's on dialysis 3 days a week. And they told him his only chance was a liver transplant. And so they put him on the list. But 90% of the people on those lists die waiting for liver that never comes because there are not enough donors to go around. So 5.5 years into his battle with cancer, 4 years of chemo and radiation, a year and a half on the waiting list, waiting for this liver transplant, all these experimental drugs they're giving him and stuff. And he never got the liver. So now the cancer spread from the liver into both of his kidneys. It spread into his pancreas, his small intestine, and his colon. So the poor guy's got cancer in 5 major organs. He's on dialysis 3 days a week. And then his kidneys completely shut down. He could not make urine at all. And if you know anything about how the body works and stuff, the way the body regulates fluid is through urination. So if your kidneys can't make urine, you not only don't filter your blood, but you can't regulate fluid. So whatever fluid you intake stays in your body. So maybe you guys have heard of edema, like where you retain fluids, you get your ankles puff up and stuff like that, and your calves and your thighs will puff up. Well, he had severe edema. He used to weigh 160 pounds. And then after 5.5 years of battling cancer, he only weighed 76 pounds. So literally more than half his body weight was gone. He was just skin and bones. His skin was yellow. His liver was shutting down. He had jaundice as well as the cancer. So, his skin was literally yellow. And the whites of his eyes were yellow. And he was dying. And so his kidneys completely shut down. They put a catheter in him, to try to drain his bladder. But there's nothing to drain because his kidneys can't make urine. So every day they would check his catheter, but it's dry because his bladder's dry because his kidneys can't make urine. So all this fluid that normally you would urinate out is backing up. His ankles puffed up like elephant's feet. His calves, his thighs got huge like tree trunks. His belly got big and bloated like he'd swallowed a couple of basketballs. From his shoulders to his head, you couldn't see his neck. It was like it went right from his shoulders to his jaw, and everything else was just fluid and puffy and stuff. And in 30 days of not being able to urinate, he went from 76 pounds to 256 pounds. He gained 180 pounds of fluid. His lungs are filling up, and 9 oncologists from one of the best medical schools in the world sent him home to die in hospice care and said there was nothing anybody in the world could do for him, that life was over. They gave him 1 day to live, and they said at the very most 2 days. And they told his wife, Lisa, who was a nurse, that we're going to send 2 hospice nurses home with you to give him morphine so the pain won't be so bad. And they'll be there to help you and stuff. But make sure you give him nothing to eat because his body's shutting down. He can't digest food or process anything, and nothing to drink because his lungs are already filling up with fluid and it's surrounding his heart and everything. And if you give him any fluids, even if he's thirsty, it'll fill up his lungs. He won't be able to breathe and he'll just die. So if you want him to have him alive for a day, maybe 2 days at most, so that the family can come by and say their goodbyes to him. But we're sorry, there's just nothing anybody can do, nothing in the world. So they sent him home to die. I happened to be back in Madison, Wisconsin at that time, teaching a seminar at the City Hall in Fitchburg. It's a suburb of Madison, Wisconsin. And I was teaching a seminar on the health benefits of Kangen water. And always people come up to me afterwards and ask me questions, like, can it do this? Will it help this? Can it help my dad's this? Will it help my mom's this? All these questions, and I love answering them. The answer is always yes. I've never, in 18.5 years, I've never found a condition that the water doesn't improve. It's just so incredible. And well, here's what it boils down to. the body's designed to self-heal. There really isn't anything that's incurable. I never claim that the water cures anything because it really doesn't. It doesn't prevent disease or cure disease or treat disease. What the water does is it hydrates the body, it alkalizes the body, and it detoxifies the body. And those are the things that allow the body to self-heal because the body's always trying to heal. It never stops till the day you die. It never stops trying to recover from whatever bad we're doing. But it's really hard for the body to heal when it's acidic and when it's toxic and when it's dehydrated. And everybody that has any health problem has them because they're acidic, toxic, and dehydrated to one extent or another. And the more acidic you are, the more toxic you are, and the more dehydrated you are, the more pain you're going to have, the more health problems you're going to have, and the sooner you're going to die. I mean, that's really how it works. So the, the key to unleashing the body's innate ability to heal itself is to make the body alkaline rather than acidic, because all the pathogens, cancer and all the other things, fungus, mold, yeast, virus, mycoplasma, they all thrive in the acidic, low oxygen environment. They cannot thrive in the high oxygen, alkaline environment. So you want to restore that alkaline pH, and there's nothing in the world that does it better than this water. The other thing is that because water is so essential to every function in the body, being dehydrated contributes hugely to all health conditions, including cancer. Because when you're dehydrated, that's going to make you more acidic and toxic because you need the water to flush out the toxins and to neutralize the acids. And if you're dehydrated, how are you going to do that? So uh, the water alkalizes the body better than anything in the world. I mean, any medicine, any treatment, any herb, any drug, anything. The water hydrates the body more effectively than any liquid in the world, and nothing detoxes the body. Nothing detoxes, not zeolite, not EDTA, not bentonite clay, not chlorella. I mean, nothing detoxes the body more effectively or efficiently than Kangen water. So the three things that need to happen for the body to be able to heal itself all depend on exactly what Kangen water does. So the water doesn't heal you. It's the body's innate ability to heal itself. What the water does is it enables the body to get back into the balance it needs so that it can start healing by making new healthy cells and repairing damaged cells. So that's what he's going through. So they sent him home to die, and they said he only had a day to live, two at the very most. And the last thing they told her was, don't give him anything to drink at all, absolutely nothing, or he'll die as soon as you do. So when I give my seminar there, the last guy stood in line. It was like after midnight, I was answering questions, and this guy came up to me and he said, my best friend's dying of cancer, and he told me the story like I just told you about cancer in 5 organs and everything. And can your water save him? And because I'd shared in my presentation that evening how I'd reversed cancer with several people with the water and stuff. UCLA Medical Center sent a guy home to die, and we reversed his liver cancer, and so on and so on and so on. And I said, well, I can't promise you that it can cure his cancer. That would be illegal for me to say that, and I don't really know because I don't know your friend, and I don't know how far gone he is. I don't know if he's still doing chemo. I don't know. There's so many factors I'm not aware of. But I will tell you this: everything I said tonight is true. And there isn't anything that anybody can do that's more beneficial to healing or reversing or preventing cancer or any other condition than drinking this water in meaningful amounts. I mean, that's absolutely true. So this guy took me at my word. He'd been listening to me for 3 hours, and he got out his credit card and bought the machine. And I said, well, here's the thing. You're going to have to pay extra $100 to have an overnight delivery, because if you wait 5 days for it to arrive normal delivery, the morphine will already have killed him. So we've got to get it there immediately. So that's what we did. The next day, he took 6 gallons of water over to his friend's house. He gave it to his wife, Lisa, and said, give this water to Charles. It might save his life. And he told her all about listening to me and what I'd said about the cancer and everything. And she said, well, I can't give it to him, doctor's orders. They said, absolutely no liquids, because, look at him, he hasn't urinated now in 68 days. He hasn't urinated. So, I mean, he's all this fluid's backed up in his body. And they said, if I give him anything to drink, it'll kill him. So the friend that bought the machine was really disappointed. And he said, well, I hope you change your mind, because really, if he's going to die tomorrow from the morphine, what's the difference? What do you got to lose to try, So after he left, the family talked it over, and they decided, well, he's right. What have we got to lose? And, no sense just sitting here waiting for the morphine to kill him. Why don't we try the water? What could it hurt? Well, Charles was on so much morphine that he was basically almost in a comatose. It's like he didn't even know his friend was there talking to him and stuff like that. So he couldn't hold a glass. Even when the family decided to give him the water, he literally couldn't hold a glass and drink it. So he was too weak. So Lisa, being a nurse and being devoted and dedicated to him and everything, she got a glass of Kangen water and a tablespoon, and she gave it to him one spoon at a time, just like a little baby food. She spoon fed him one tablespoon at a time of that water all night long. When everybody else went to bed, she didn't. She was devoted to him. She loved him dearly. She stood by his bedside nonstop, hour after hour, giving him one tablespoon of water at a time. Half of it ran down his chin. His shirt's wet. The bed's wet. She kept giving it to him. When the glass is empty, she'd fill it up and do it again and do it again. And all night long, she kept hoping and praying and wondering, how can I get more water in him? And I'm spilling so much of it here, trying to get him to drink it when he's almost unconscious, you know. So that next morning, when the hospice nurses and her three daughters were there with her, and Charles's brothers were there, when they all woke up, she says, "You guys keep an eye on Charles. I got to go to the store." So she went to the store and bought a baby bottle, which was brilliant. So she comes home from the store with a baby bottle, and she cuts a bigger hole in the nipple and fills it with Kangen water and holds it in his mouth and whispers in his ear, "Charles, drink this, drink this." So he kept doing it. And, that was brilliant, because he got a lot more water in him that way. And after a day of giving him that water nonstop, he didn't die. His lungs didn't fill up. He didn't die like the doctors had said and everything. So she kept giving the water. And after the second day, he was doing better. He was actually having more energy, like a wilted plant, when you give it water and it starts to come back to life right before your eyes. That's what was happening to Charles. On the third day, he was not only still alive, but he's sitting up in bed talking to his daughters, talking to his brothers, and full of energy. And a lot of his pain is starting to go away. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. I'm sorry. This is so important, I think. But he had this edema so severely that his legs were splitting open from his hips to his ankles. I mean, the skin was just splitting open, and water would seep out of his skin all day long. And they'd wrap his legs in bath towels, and then have to change them over and over because they kept getting wetter and wetter. And that's the only way his body could get rid of fluids. I mean, he was really in bad shape, and that was extremely painful. So I had him on so much morphine. But after the third day, his pain was starting to go away, and they actually were backing off and giving him less morphine. Well, that doesn't usually happen in hospice care. Usually hospice care is like, they mean well. They don't want you to suffer, but it's like taking your dog to the vet. They'll put him to sleep. That's what hospice care. The morphine blocks pain, but it also kills you. And, I've seen it happen. I've literally been in the hospital and watched them give it to my mother the day she died. And I watched them give it to my uncle the day he died. And it's not pleasant,
Wow.
But
Yeah.
so that's where he is. But now they're backing off on the morphine. He doesn't need as much. And he keeps drinking the water. And that evening, on the third day of drinking the water, the hospice nurses every day, they got nothing to do. They're sitting there waiting for him to die, basically. And they've never seen anybody ever in their career that was in his shape or that survived. So they certainly think he's not going to, just like the doctors were sure he wasn't going to. But they want something to do while they're there. So, they'll routinely check his blood pressure 2 or 3 times a day. They'll check his blood sugar a couple of times a day, just something to do. And routinely, they would check his catheter every day. So that evening, on the third day of drinking the water, when they checked his catheter, it was full of urine. He had not urinated in 71 days, and now his catheter's full of urine. So this blew their minds. They thought, "Oh, what is going on here?" They called their supervisor of hospice nursing and told her, and she said, "That's impossible. Kidneys don't come back to life after 70 days. It's impossible. It can't be urine. Got to be some other fluid." And the nurse told her, said, "Look, I've been doing this a long time. I know what urine looks like, and I certainly know what it smells like, and this is urine." She said, "Well, don't dump that. Don't dump the catheter. I got to see this for myself." So she gets in her car, the supervisor of nursing, and drives out to Charles's home and verifies that it's really urine. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on here?" So long story short, they kept giving him the water and giving him the water. On the 6th day on the water, he said to his wife, Lisa, "Honey, I feel like I really got to go to the bathroom. Will you help me get out of bed?" So she sits him up and gets him out of his deathbed, and he walks into the bathroom with a catheter, and he goes in there and urinates. And that day, the hospice nurses packed up and left. They said, "We've never seen anything like this. It's a miracle, we think. You don't need us, and we got to go where people really need us, and you clearly don't." Oh, my phone's about to go dead, so just give me a second here. I got to plug it in real quick.
Make sure the
Oh,
peppers are not
gosh.
bleeding either.
So anyway, okay, I got it. Whew, that was close. You know how your phone gets real dim before it goes out? I forgot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, the hospice nurses packed up and left. They said, "You don't need us." And his daughters went home to their families. His brothers went home to their families because he was clearly not dying anymore. He just kept drinking the water, drinking the water. And after 6 weeks on the water, he goes to his local hometown doctor for a checkup, Rockford, Illinois, a suburb of Rockford, Loves Park it's called. And he goes for a checkup. and the doctor can't find anything wrong with him. All of his vital signs are perfect. All of his numbers are perfect, and he couldn't see any evidence of cancer anywhere in his body. So he can't believe it. So he calls the University of Wisconsin up at Madison that's been treating him for 5.5 years, because he's the one that sent him up there, And he told them, the oncology team, that I've got Charles Linderman in my office, and all of his numbers are perfect. He seems perfectly healthy, and I can't see any evidence of cancer. And they said, well, that's impossible. We can't even believe he's alive. We sent him home 6 weeks ago with a day to live. He shouldn't even be alive, but it's impossible, literally impossible for him to be cancer free after 5.5 years like this. And the doctor said, well, I know, but here I'm seeing him, and he looks great. He feels great. He's pain free. And they said, well, send him back here to us. We have better diagnostic procedures at our hospital than you do in your office. So they took him back up to the same hospital that sent him home to die 6 weeks earlier. They kept him for 3 days of tests. They did every test they could do: MRI, ultrasound, CAT scan, PET scan, blood work, x-rays, biopsy, everything you could do. They can't find one single cell of cancer anywhere in his body. And it never came back. They told his wife, watch him closely, because in this spontaneous remission, we can't explain it, but it always comes back with a vengeance, and it will soon. So keep a close eye on him. Well, it never came back, and it healed his kidneys. He never had to go back on dialysis. After a year and a half of 3 days a week of dialysis just to stay alive, he never had to go back on it again. And that's one story. And I could literally tell you hundreds of them. And a lot of them just as incredible, just as incredible.
Right.
So
It's hard to choose which stories to share. You've been able to help so many people. Thank you so much for taking the time to share this evening. We do have to wrap it up. I could sit here and listen for hours. I know many of us could have that conversation for hours as well too, but let's do this. Stu is going to be speaking on a call this week as well with Wade. So we'll make sure, the person who invited you to this call, for everyone who's listening in, you can get some more, you can listen, maybe a little bit more about the science. Stu, just reading you the comments, you got so much gratitude from everyone here. Many said they heard you speak so much about the science, and they really appreciated getting to hear your family stories as well too this evening. So thank you for that. And I'm in Orlando, Florida with my husband, Mustafa. Chris is talking about coming here and doing an event at the Enagic office. We'd love to have you. For everyone who's on the call here, whether you're in Florida or not in Florida, definitely something obviously worth flying in town for. Come and hang out with us. Come and change your life and see how you can change other people's lives as well too. Stu, do you have any last words for someone who's just watching this for the first time?
sure. And I'll just say real quick, in line with what you were just saying, Aisha. Chris and I had a talk before this call, and I said, let me check with my wife. And I did that a while ago, and I got her blessing. So March 14th, it looks like I'll be coming to Florida with Chris. We're going to be giving a presentation there in Orlando at the NAGIC office.
Wonderful.
So
Well, looking forward to it. So this is just part one. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Odile. Merci, Odile. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Tara and Jonathan. Thank you to Mustafa as well too, of course. Thank you, David, for coming on impromptu. That was amazing. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. And thank you, Chris, for making the connection. Thank you, every single person that is here this evening. I don't take it lightly that we have been here for over 90 minutes. And whether you're here to learn about how you can change your own life, or you're already on a mission to be a messenger and to be a wave creator of health, of abundance, of freedom, of all of the things that we discussed this evening, I am looking so forward to welcoming you on our next call. But for today, we do need to wrap it up. We could keep going. We do need to wrap it up. So on that note, I will leave you with this. After everything that you've heard, right? Everything that you heard. I personally, when I heard Stu speak, when I heard Christina's story, I feel a duty to go out and help our fellow brothers and sisters and other people in this world. We're all here guiding each other home. If 2020 has showed us anything, is that it's up to us to empower each other. It's up to us to help one another. It's up to us to love one another. If people can hate for no reason, we can love for so many reasons. And now you have been entrusted with a message of love that starts with water, because water is life, but obviously it doesn't stop there. So on that note, we all have a choice. You can rinse and repeat. We're human beings. We have been blessed and given the opportunity of choice, unlike many other species. So what will you do with it? Are you going to choose to put a wall to this ripple effect? Oh, I just got chills that just got started this evening. Or are you going to continue it? We'll leave that up to you. This was recorded, so you'll be able to share all of this with your loved ones as well too. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Aisha.